Hello, and welcome to another episode of Quarter Variant at a Time. My name is Danny Morales. Find me on Twitter at Danny9Panels. I work at Blackbird Comics and Coffee House, one of the best of the best. And I got my good buddy Roy. Roy's in
Imperious
here.
Rex.
Roy's the homie. Roy reads so much comics, the intake so much comic knowledge, even from the times
I,
he wasn't reading. Roy, you're the X-Men guy, right? That's what you're here. The bottom should just say, "I'm the X-Men guy."
yeah, argue with me about X-Men, please.
Tell me which X-Men you liked.
Me personally, I don't know. Like, I think that it's all a matter of nostalgia. And so for me, even though I was introduced to the 80s X-Men, like the 90s stuff was like my jam. So the X-Men Blue and Gold team where you had like Jim Lee and like Scott Liddell and like, I mean, it all right before the Image split off. So it kind of diverted quickly after that. But like those are like my X-Men, and that's like my head canon, and like Chris Claremont is like my guy. You know what I mean? Like he crafted most of the stories that I know and love. And then it's weird because like I kind of have like I really am not a super huge fan of Grant Morrison's run, but it's like it's weird to just go back and see how they revamp them all. And now we're in 2023 where the people who are growing up, they feel that those X-Men are their X-Men the way that I felt just 10 years before. And so I try to temper my reactions with that perspective. You know what I mean? Like characters that I feel like are throwaway characters are now characters that have been there for 20 years and have their own solo books and stuff. So it's hard to say. And then character wise, man, dude, it's too long of a list. Like
Well, Madeline Pryor's up there, right?
Madeline Pryor, yeah. Well, I love tragic chicks, man. That's my thing. So Madeline Pryor is about as tragic as it gets, and a woman's constant struggle to shake herself free from the machinations of the men around her. And I'm here for that. And it doesn't help that she decides to always wear that dress. So that works for
Yeah,
me.
but like as you were saying that about the X-Men, like I totally agree because I didn't realize like I'm a Barry Allen guy with my Flash, and I didn't realize until recently when I talked to some of the like the older heads, like I mean people in like the 50s and 60s, and you talk about Flash, they're Wally people, which
Yeah,
for a minute took me back because I'm like, why are you Wally? Like Barry's the OG, this that, but Barry was gone for 20
he's
years.
gone for so long.
He was gone, dude. There's people that only read Mark Waid and Jeff Johns, Wally West, like and maybe they grew up. They got out. Who knows what happened with their life, like, but like they know Wally West, like, and that blew my mind because I always was like, oh, I'm with the old school peeps, right? Like Barry died, but just like in comics, he came back, right? And like he
Yeah,
did, but it was way longer than nowadays, like
it
Alfred
was a
Dent.
legitimate thing. Yeah,
Yeah. So, with that being said, we're not experts. We ain't pros. We don't pretend
no,
to be, but we have opinions that we feel like come from the consumer side of things. Yeah, and then I was just gonna say, there's that demographic of people that Wally, this is Robert, the homie Robert. Robert, we won yesterday, baby. Um, but there's also a demographic of people that grew up. Wally was the Flash on Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, and it's just like I'm sure there's a lot of X-Men fans that believe that core team of X-Men is Gambit, Rogue,
sure.
Jubilee. Like you watch the
Yeah,
cartoon, and that's what I love about comic books because there's no wrong way to look at it, right? You can
no,
say Giant Size X-Men is the first team, like you
sure.
could like
Whatever you
whatever
want.
whatever
Yeah,
got you into the comics is what got you here, right? It's like what
yeah.
you enjoyed.
I'm good at, I think like I'm good at like facts because like I'm extremely opinionated. So like if you ask my opinions on things, I feel like I'm just gonna like rub you the wrong way. But if you're just looking for like straight facts on things, like I'm pretty solid with that. Like I've got a good repository of knowledge of storylines and characters and things like that. Like you said, even from the time that I was separated from reading comic books, I still have like gone back and tried to dig into all of that so that I know what's going on.
Yeah,
Um,
right? We try to fill in the gaps that we don't.
yeah, absolutely. Just because just because I still want to know, and like Hickman, when he took over and did the House of X and the Powers of X, there was a lot of Grant Morrison stuff that he went back to either make it make sense or weave it in or tie it up or whatever you want. And so, like that actually gave me an enjoyment of Grant Morrison's run that I don't have from actually reading Grant Morrison's run, And if you hadn't read that, you'd have to be kind of like, what is going on? Because that was a huge turn in X-Men events and like how they interacted as a team as well as the characters themselves.
Yep.
So, but
And
just facts, like I got you.
and speaking of Robert, because since Robert was in here, Robert's
My guy.
watching.
I love
Uh,
that guy so much.
so apparently he walks into the store the other day and he's like, "Yo, you gotta tell me about this fall and Rise of X." And I'm thinking he's talking about like, what's going on right now. And I didn't
No,
realize that they like that's what we're setting up.
that's what we're setting up.
And then I told him, and it's like only 1% of a joke, 99% dead ass serious. That between you, Roy, and Dave
Dave,
at Blackbird, Robert will never not know another X-Men thing again in his life.
sure. And I'm willing to bet that Dave knows far more than I do. That's I no challenge there.
Hey,
Like,
Nicole.
what's up, Nicole?
Happy anniversary to Nicole and Dan. They celebrated
Oh
their
yeah.
anniversary, I believe, yesterday, 2 days ago, maybe. But yeah, happy
One of those.
anniversary, y'all. But yeah, Robert, man, you're in the right hands of X-Men now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I still have that trade for you, man. Like I was not making that up. I don't know if he's got a folio at the or a box at Blackbird or not, but like I still have that trade for him.
We gonna get him that. So we're
It's
officially
on my
back.
shelf right now. I can see it.
We took 2 weeks off. I had my bachelor party last weekend, and the weekend before
Congratulations.
that, I don't remember at this point, but it was.
Good football,
Oh,
man.
I had football. My buddy from Scotland was down, so it was like really hard to break away. He gets 2 weeks off a year, and he usually chooses to come down to Florida and split between me and my buddy Daryl that I do the football podcast with. So I kind of wanted to make sure, the thousands of dollars he spent to get down here, he didn't feel like he wasted it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would neglect a lot of responsibilities in that situation, to be honest. So,
So yeah, so we're back. We're planning on coming back weekly. There's actually the only week we might not come back, and maybe we'll find a way to do something fun over there is the week that I'm at New York Comic Con because I do not fly until Monday. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. The homies are gonna be out there. Alan is not gonna be out there, which makes me a little sad.
yeah, but everybody else from Scott's Collectibles is going to be
Yeah,
out there.
like
It's
everybody
quite the
else.
lineup.
It is a good lineup over there, man. They got everybody, but the homie Allen's been working on like his passion project, and I'm really excited for that, dude. I don't care if I got paid $1 million, like I want that.
Yeah, it's obviously a family story, and it's obviously going to be super close to his heart. And
Mhm.
so I'm mega about that. And those little cartoony graphics, like he's just killing that. There's no argument about textures or faces or anything. This is just clean little cartoon work, and the message is obviously going to be the point.
What's up, Brian? How you doing, brother? So,
So
all
I'm really
right,
excited for
let's jump into it. The new comic book day that was. Now we are going to change the format. We're going to start talking about the new comic book day that's going to be. But before you do that, so we don't skip a whole week after we've already skipped 2 weeks, we're gonna talk about the new comic book day that was. I'm gonna flip through mine real quick because mine are less than Roy's. Plus, I haven't had a chance to read it yet because it's been a crazy week.
that. I managed to sequester the time this
Yeah.
week, and I read my books, and I'm happy that I did.
So I'm gonna
That's what,
start.
good.
I'm gonna start with the one that I'm not reading, but I like to show it off because the kiddo is reading it and she's been loving it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Stranger Things. It is issue 3. She's read the first 2 and she's absolutely loved it. She's a big fan of Stranger Things, and then she saw the Ninja Turtles movie with us. And I mean, so that those are pretty much your two demographics. If your kiddo likes either of those, super awesome book to jump into, especially if they're like teenager, right there about the teenager age.
Yeah.
Um, I know Roy's going to talk about this one later. I read the tasting menu of rare flavors by Ram V, and I was 100% hooked in it. Um, the I'm 5-year old like explanation of what's kind of happening here, which is still amazing, is there's this kind of Anthony Bourdain style character. He feels like he knows so much about food, and he's talking to like a guy that's going to be able to TV kind of produce for him a show, and so he wants to be that Anthony Bourdain character traveling the world, but he has some nefarious reasons behind it, and he even says some very ominous things, even just in the tasting menu, that make you think that this is going to be awesome. The art style really matches with what the vibe is because it's supposed to be like Indian folklore, that stuff like that. So a book that I know Roy's going to talk about later, but don't miss
Damn.
out on that. Roy, did you get Nick Cage?
No.
I got Nick Cage.
I thought about it, but like I'm trying to, like I said, even my pockets aren't limitless, and so I'm trimming down, and I just couldn't give it up for the Nick Cage cover.
So
But I'm glad
I
he got to be him in the Superman movie, even if it was only computer.
right, and then they gave him this, which is like great. Apparently, this is a good issue too. Like I think the issue before this was a jumping on point, so I might pick that up. But I'm not reading World's Finest, but I had to pick up Nick Cage.
Yeah, DC's got my attention for the first time since I've been back, and so because I am gonna check out a few DC titles, I skip just cover stuff.
Yep.
They already got my money with Zatanna on Night Terrors. They're fine.
So Antarctica 3 is out. This is now an ongoing series.
Oh,
Simon Burks.
really?
Burks. Yeah, it got announced as an ongoing. I mean, ongoing might just mean like 12, but it's much more than the original 5.
Still, yeah, you called it on it obviously being a solid read.
Fire. It's fire. If you like just like a little bit of sci-fi mixed with mystery in a way, like I don't know, it's phenomenal. I hate to say it would make a good TV show, but it would probably make a good TV show.
Have you ever seen John Carpenter's The Thing? Like it just gives like The Thing vibes, like
It has the
Antarctica and
Thing
like
vibes, but it's more so because at least in the Thing, like they know that there is a thing, right? It's just the mystery is like who,
oh,
right? For at least the first 2 issues, the mystery is just like WTF,
they already know
like
there's a thing. Gotcha.
what, like yeah, some there's something, but it could be this like it could be more supernatural, it could be monstrous, like could be magic, like they don't know, she doesn't know, I mean, I'm sure all the people that are missing know,
Is
but
it a
like yeah.
world where supernatural things are readily acceptable, or is this like what
No,
we're
it's like
backing
our
off?
world. It's like our
Okay,
world, yeah. So it's
what we're
like just
shopping off.
imagine like again, all the conspiracies that pop up, like right, like oh, why is nobody going to Antarctica? It's like we must be doing some crazy things. So it's
It
like
turns out,
that's the thought process, right? That's what like they've heard. And this girl is there because her father disappeared, and like now that she's older, she's like, oh, there might be more to this. I'm gonna investigate.
okay.
Dude, Antarctica is fire, Robert. I'm telling you, man. So I did. It's a Hispanic Heritage Month, so I picked up the Villalobos Hawk Girl this week. Beautiful. It's a beautiful cover. And then I picked up the the Jessica Cruz Green Lantern.
This was the hardest book to choose a cover for.
It was, dude, because I'm not gonna lie, that the dog tags was sick. I
Dog
think there
tags
was
were
like
sick.
a John Yang, I think
The
maybe
John
like that.
Jang, dude,
Yeah, dude.
they were all nasty, dude. But like I said, I was just trying to cut down on how many of the same book I buy because a different cover.
So I couldn't. This is a situation where I couldn't give in to my temptation. So I'm reading Titans. I love Titans. It's a fun little. It's a mini series, but I think it's perfect for Tom Taylor, so he doesn't overextend himself a bit. But I had to. And again, Wally's not my dude.
That's cool
But
though.
you give me like an all red and yellow flash cover,
That's
and
cool.
like we're doing it. We're doing it. So I bought both.
Got it.
And then Tom King hitting the Wonder Woman #1. Of course, I did the art germ. Of course.
I don't know why I didn't fall for that one. I must have had a real good grip on my priorities when I scrolled past it.
And I mean, I've heard it's good. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Her daughter is in on this and everything like that, so I'm excited. And before I send it over to Roy, and I know you were there this weekend,
What was?
the homie Trey Walker. Actually, it would have been last weekend. Now, the homie Trey Walker and Hoyt
He was there
Silva.
this weekend too.
Yeah,
Just having
they
coffee.
they hooked me up. So I wasn't able to go because it was my bachelor
Oh,
party. So he hooked me up. They were signed by
oh,
Trey and
sweet.
Hoyt. He knew how badly I wanted them signed by both. Obviously, you can walk up to Trey any day at Blackbird and get him signed, but Hoyt's in
Not
Atlanta.
Hoyt. Yeah.
So my Mongrel. So Mongrel had just come out last week. We probably hadn't had a chance to probably talk about it on FOC. $9.99 trade paperback. It's a thick boy. It's honestly like young adult to all ages, young adult to up. I
Yeah.
thought it was a fun story. They planned 3 volumes of this, so hopefully they get to do the rest of it. But like, I read it as an adult and I loved it, and I probably will hand it to the little one to read because I think it's perfect up her alley. And the black and white manga feels awesome.
Yeah, mom, we picked that up and Kai read it, and then we went and saw Trey and Hoyt at Blackbird, and they couldn't have been nicer guys. I mean, obviously, like we see Trey more often than not, but he's usually like working, and
Yeah.
it's nice to catch him where like he can't get away.
Where
Like
he's like, yeah, there's
he's
no
yeah
laptop
he's
in front of
this time
him.
this time he's there for me, so I'm gonna grab him up. So and I get to talk to Hoyt, who is really passionate, and that's always super cool when
Dude.
you get to meet the creators and they're just over the moon about trying to tell you about it. Because I wanted them to give a breakdown of like seasons change, which we also ended up picking up. And so yeah, so we got a new reader as far as my kid goes, and that's dope. And they handed out like t-shirts. Oh my god, I can't get this t-shirt off my kid because it's the font, like I don't want to say trade dress, but like the trade dress or font for mongrel. Yeah, with like the pentagram and the tail and everything. I'm like, I can't get it off my kid now. Like they're freaking out. So big shout out to Trey and Hoyt for that because man, my kid loves it.
Dude, and they're great guys, and like it's like you mentioned, Hoyt. Hoyt's not around as much. People might not be as familiar with him. Hoyt Silva, he lives up in Atlanta. He works. He's like he's done a lot of ghost artisting, like even in the industry, like Marvel. He works at a studio, and sometimes they hand him something like, we need you to finish coloring this, we need you to finish inking this, and
I
it's
get
his
it.
job to just anonymity do it, and he doesn't get a lot of credit, but like the guy's very talented.
Like a
He's
session guitar player. I get it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I even got their newest one, which just fulfilled at from Kickstarter, and Blackbird had it, was Danjin. So they even signed that for me, and I love Danjin's the only one I haven't read yet because I've read the other two we've talked about on the show. I love the concept of Danjin because Danjin is just an NPC
Yeah.
in an RPG game, and it's like what he does when you're not around. Like once you've left past his tavern, what is Danjin doing? And I love that
Right.
concept. I love it.
Absolutely. It sounds phenomenal, and I'm sure that Trey and Hoyt tackle it with excellence.
Yeah, I can't wait. So, what you get this new comic book day?
Man, I don't know. Somehow I ended up with a stack. I don't know how that happened.
Somehow, I don't know how it happened.
I did dig just a few books out of last week as well because I ended up, and everyone who watches or has met me or has talked to me for more than 5 minutes about comic books knows that I love any 90s gimmick, and none is my favorite so much as foil covers. And so over the last few weeks, they put out some pretty rad foil covers, and so I'm going to walk you through them all. Not all of them do I have stories about, but I will talk about rare flavors a little bit more. Hold on, let me get a more
Give
realistic
it that
shot.
that tilt. What's up, Kenny? That's a cool
So
cover too. It's a different than the A cover. It's not just a foilized A cover, so I like that.
right. And so this is incredible. I don't know. It's funny listening to you give the review that based off of what I know from having actually read it like maybe an hour or two ago. But I don't know how much more I'd really want to say than what you said. Uh, I definitely recommend that you check this book out. Well, if you're into food, if you're into Indian culture, it was nice because it was good representation. Like they talked about like chai tea, and they give you
Mhm,
like an idea of like how it's made and like a correct method, and so like it's a neat little peek into that culture, and I like that. And the main character also kind of tied in with all of that. And also, even though he's not Amul Farouk, the Shadow King at all, he
mhm.
still kind of gives that vibe, man. That menacing presence, ancient evil in the desert. So I did not know. I didn't. I bought the tasting menu and then tried to get my family to read it so that I could get an idea. And then no one got to it in time. So when I saw foil cover, I was like, oh, okay. So that's me. So I love that. I got this Jay Lee,
The Negaduck.
the Negaduck, because this is rad. Like anything Darkwing Duck or Gargoyles, I'm gonna continue that until the wheels fall off. You know what I mean? Like nonstop. Everyone knows this.
Rom.
This is it. I've been waiting on this. This is Rom the Space Knight. If you're not familiar with Rom, you should be, and you should be ashamed of yourself if you're not. Especially if you're my age. If you're younger than me, I get it. But if you're not, if you're from the '80s and you don't know Rom Space Knight, you're lacking. You're lacking. I'm just gonna leave it there. I picked this up because I'm a sucker.
Oh, dude. So like apparently that has a an error in it and like they're gonna reproduce them. So like I wonder if those will end up being like the valuable thing here in like a couple of years because there's 2 pages out of order. Now, granted,
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure who's picking that up to read it, but
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah, like I have it in hardcovers. I think I have that single issue. Like
yeah.
even I have that stuff. Excuse me. But I am a sucker. It's Jim Lee and it's a foil and it's
Oh,
I
dude,
would
it's
I
beautiful.
FOC this Superman one, so this is lit. I haven't even begun to even think about reading this, but I had to grab it.
David Nakayama on a foil is just like
Yeah, it is a
must.
no-brainer. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the back is gorgeous. And I loved the it was hard not to get the homage where they're standing there without Guy Gardner. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I saw that too. I think Lauren ended up going with the Jem Bartel.
Yeah,
Um,
it's for a book that, no offense, this is something like I said that I'm probably just not going to read. Like it was another book that was really hard to pick covers for.
dude, other than like an episode of Justice League Unlimited where they were like there in the Watchtower, I think the only time I ever seen Fire and Ice on the same screen was the never released or might have been released on TV Justice League movie from like 1990 that was like had like
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it was bad, but I watched it because it had the Flash.
Yeah, had the
So I
Flash.
watched
Yeah,
it
so you
on
took it.
like
Amen, bro. I watched that Generation X pilot like way back in like 98 or
Yep,
95, and dude, it was, oh my God, it was the worst thing ever. But it was
yep. That's
Jubilee, and it
essentially what
was
I watched.
yeah, so you took it. And then like I said, no offense to this book at all. You know what I mean? I was never like a big team guy, like whether it's Justice League or Avengers, I usually pass on both of it. I don't know why. Like I just never really been super big in either one. I got this, which I am excited about the cover. So
You know,
this is that Daredevil relaunch.
I've heard I read some of the pages because I ended up sending some questions over to the writer of that for a potential interview. And like
Ahmed?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I like it. So I don't think Daredevil is a character for me, right? Like
Okay.
Batman is barely a character for me to admit, right? And they're
Two
very similar.
totally different concepts. But yeah, I get it.
But yeah,
Okay.
and then like so I as I read through, I was just like, man, I don't. This isn't my type of book.
Hmm.
But I think it still hits all the beats that like if you like it, like I feel like if you like the Daredevil Netflix show, like you'll like it. Like that's the comparison I can make. I think.
Gross. Of course they would make it so they can put it in line with the movies and TV. Of course.
Like it's
I'm
not like a million characters from it show up, but like it's just
still, but the same
mood,
idea. Yeah,
that mood, you know.
that's gross. I'm telling you, Dave, they're going back to the mansion, and this is the same thing. This is the same thing. So, I also like when it comes to like Daredevil and Moon Knight, who are characters that you've only known me to collect their books the entire time that we've been friends, and more of like the head canon on that as well. I like the idea of these street level heroes. I like the idea of Moon Knight and the mental health, and I like the idea of Daredevil and the conflicting religious beliefs. And
And that
I,
a
I,
lot of that is in that. I will say there is a lot of that in that. So
I love the theory on all of that, but it's rarely really been done well. Like Daredevil as a book doesn't really sell that well. Like there are arcs of it that everyone's like, "Oh, Frank Miller, Man Without Fear," and it's like, okay, but like that's like saying that you made a 3-point shot once, and here we are 5 years later, and you're expecting everyone to remember your classic balling skills, and it's like it's just not like that. And so like it doesn't surprise me that like they are changing things, but I can tell you that like I picked up all of Zdarsky's run and I didn't finish it. I know, but I'm closer than you would. I'm a hell of a lot closer than I am on Spider-Man. And so like it was just done really well, and it was really good. Story's far out, but like what are you going to do with these characters at this point? So but I thought it was really well done, and I'm not really looking for, I haven't read it yet, I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm gonna check it out for a minute because I don't know, they did so well. I think that like Daredevil and Jed McKay on Moon Knight were just two really well done books, and so I'll
yeah,
be sad to see it go. Lastly, on my foil run here, I had to get Ken Lashley.
Venom. That was a
Yep.
beautiful cover. That was
Yep.
probably the best foil cover Marvel did in the last month or
Yeah.
so.
So this is my boy Ken Lashley, and anytime he puts out something, I'm usually on it.
Awesome.
So yeah, she's beautiful. And then as far as the books, you gotta be kidding me. I'm about to make this super quick. We're gonna be here all day. I loved this cover. This is Cult of Carnage #5.
Oh yeah, that cover is beautiful.
Yeah, most of these covers were really great. This is the 5th issue, so it's finishing. So that means within the next week or so, I will have read it and be able to give you an actual review on the whole thing. Like I said, time and time again, anything that's 5 issues, I'm probably gonna wait until I have all 5 issues, and then I'll be able to tell you more. Everyone went nuts over this Wolverine. I had to get the Kale New.
That's a sick cover. Even if it
Yeah,
wasn't Kale, that pose, that
yeah,
composition, like that's really good.
yeah. I've been in the groups watching everyone go nuts over that Greg Capullo with that wonky wrist, and I'm like, I don't
Dude,
understand.
right? The wrist is just not great.
I don't. Yeah, like they're like, "What's his first Marvel work in so long?" And it's Greg Capullo, and I'm like, "Yeah, but I mean, then why did you turn in such a mid effort? Like, I don't get it." And I know that you did not care for this.
Dude, she got a long neck.
She does have.
Is that a character trait? Like, does her neck stretch as she
This is definitely Aeon Flux, Madeline Pryor. Like, she got neck. You're right,
she got a
but I
long
mean,
neck, bro.
I know people with worse problems. So and you know how I feel about Madeline, and so I got it.
I knew as soon as I saw Andrews Villa-Lobos, I knew you needed it, you know?
Well, but at the time, because don't forget, now that we're doing pull box, I'm trying to behave and I'm trying not to do incentives, despite their ridiculously competitive price over at Blackbird. But yeah, I definitely got sucked in, and I got the. I don't know. I would imagine it's 1 in 25. I can't tell because I used to be able to tell because the price made it obvious, but the price is so good on it that I have no idea where it landed on the
I think it
incentives.
was the 1 in
I
25.
would imagine it's 1 in 25.
Like, it could be a 150 because Dave orders because it's X-Men. So, you know, Dave
Dude, if I got this for the price I got it at, and it's a 1 in 50, that is ridiculous. It's ridiculous for the 1 in 25 for what I'm used to paying, to be honest. But I digress. So
But
yeah, that's the
it's a
Villa
beautiful
Lobos.
is that the Villa that's the Villa-Lobos then?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So technically, I feel that I still kind of contributed to the Heritage Month covers in that
There
respect.
you go.
Not to confuse Madeline Pryor with Latina culture, of course.
We'll claim her.
That's what's up. And that's what I respect about you. You know. So
Scotty.
well, I'm a sucker for these covers. We argue in my house because my kid, who I would think everyone would be a go, doesn't feel that way. And so this one got a unanimous approval in the house. Now, what I'm excited about is that I actually really enjoyed this book.
You liked it. You liked the
I did.
Nightcrawler running
I
around.
did. Yeah, I did. You think that me and my slapdashery comments about X-Men would have ripped this apart, but I actually like enjoyed the heck out of this. I recommend you pick it up no matter what. I don't know. If you're into Spider-Man, if you're into Nightcrawler, if you're trying to keep up on Fall of X, I either way, like that book was a win for me. I'm glad that it's only going to be like 2 or 3 issues. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
And I
that's how a
don't.
lot of Nightcrawler stuff is. It's usually very short, like 4
It's
through
it's the same thing as like Daredevil or Moonlight. There's only so long that it can go on and still
yeah,
be good. And
yeah.
something like Nightcrawler, you're like, yeah, like so the shorter the better. This What If Dark Carnage,
Oh, yeah.
every single one of these What If Darks have been garbage. I don't Every single one of them. I don't care. If you don't like it, you don't have to like me. It's my opinion. If you want the facts about what's in the book, it's a what if story about Carnage, and it's really dark, man. Sorry. Now I did get roped into this. So
It's Ben Percy. I didn't read it.
it's
It's Ben
Benjamin
Percy, though,
Percy.
who's understood Wolverine for a long time, I feel like.
I was talking with Dave really briefly because God bless them all. They've been super, super busy every time I walk in that door. So I talked to him very briefly, and he's a Duggan fan, and I can say strongly now that after being back and reading these books and doing what I'm doing, I really like Benjamin Percy.
Yep.
So I'm a supporter of that. And then I did break my code. I did get the 2 covers because I had to have the homage,
Yeah, yeah,
obviously.
yeah, yeah. And what other one did you do? Scotty? No.
Yeah, there's no way I'm turning down that Scotty.
Oh, yeah, and I
Look at
love the
that.
Savage Wolverine look
I could
on
get
him,
this
like
tattooed on me. This is great.
that is great. That is
Um, the story was cool. I mean, it's a no brainer. You know what I mean? So like, all you have to do is not fumble the ball. And I think that Percy's perfect for that. Like I don't know if anyone remembers like on the like old school like the Machinima channel, but they had like a whole series of like really well shot videos that were like Wolverine versus Predator and Deadpool versus Joker and Harley Quinn. And so they would go and get these fan reactions and ask them the question and listen to the fans argue. And then they shot a high quality video of said affair. And so there's a Predator versus Wolverine video under Machinima on their YouTube channel. I highly recommend you watch that. It's badass.
So Robert asked, and Roy, I think you'd be better equipped than me. Does Fall of X have to do with Hickman's X-Men run? So
Well, sure.
this Fall of X that's happened now is essentially the end. I mean, Hickman's not writing it, but it's the end of that era, right?
I think that this the fall of House of X is that. I think
Okay.
that what we're doing now, just fall of X, is once again just setting things up. Because I think that the problem over there is they're stuck in a holding pattern, and like I think they have been for a while. I think that all of Duggan's stories, like don't get me wrong, like all this stuff is good. The character ideas are good. I mean I don't want to go into all of it because I'll be here for longer than you want me to, like always. But it just didn't never seem to go anywhere. And Hickman wanted three parts and be done and move on. But you know, it's Spaceballs 2, the quest for more money. And it just seems like they've just been, like I said, holding pattern for all this time. And now you've got well, we're gonna do Fall of X while we shake things up with all of these wonky miniseries that aren't going anywhere. After we just did Sins of Sinister, which was a bunch of wonky miniseries that didn't go anywhere. And then we're gonna lead into this event where I would assume, I haven't read anything about it other than what you guys have seen on the Blackbird's website page, just the little Twitter post or X post, my bad. And I assume that that's when they're actually going to, you know, go back to the mansion.
Dude, they're not
But
going back to the
all
mansion.
jokes aside, which that is only half of one, I think that is where they're gonna really settle up on what
You
they
think
plan
they're
to
gonna
do.
blow up Krakoa at the end? Like,
I
because
don't know.
they can't have it still be there, because then there's always that.
Really, because right now it's in some magic lady's bottle. So
It's the
don't,
bottle city of Krakoa.
bro. You keep laughing like I'm pulling your strings right now. I don't know why. I'm dead serious. So I got Deadpool Better Blood.
Rob Liefeld gotta keep him in business.
Yeah, right. Thank God. Don't ask me why. I got it because I have the other three issues. It's 5 issues. It's gonna end, so I have it. I'll read it then. Alyssa Wong's killing it on her regular series, and like if nothing else, like this is a book where like the Batter Blood, like I just the sequentials will sell it. Like whatever, I'm good. This is like it's classic Rob Liefeld art.
Yeah.
So if you want to see a bunch of people with no feet, this is it.
Yeah,
You
you
know.
just wanna see a bunch of people jumping from the knees up.
Dude, check this out. So, like, here's this panel right here where it's this big splash, like, you know, punch on Venom, right? And then you turn the page, one page, two. Wow, I just saw it again, didn't I? It was like literally, oh, yeah. And then here we go. This is not the same page I just showed you. This is him just doing the same thing to another character. It's
He's
like
like,
the
"Dude, I'm really
same.
good at drawing this. I'm gonna do this."
Yeah. So
Hey, man, that's a man who knows what he's good at, and he's
if you're
just
looking,
like he's about it.
if you're looking for a 5 issue series of pinup books by Rob Liefeld, I can't possibly
Dan,
recommend Deadpool Better Blood enough.
Dan, I showed off my hawk girl that I bought for
Here's
Hispanic
where you find
Heritage
out I'm
Month.
not the only one who's bitter.
So I bought this for Hispanic Heritage Month, and all I will say is that's it. I'm done.
I bought the cover for Hispanic
That's
Heritage Month.
that's the last hot girl I'm buying. But thank you. That's what I got. What else you got, Roy? Before we jump into FOC.
Before we jump, I got 30 books left. I got Spider-Man number 34. Haven't read it since issue number 6. And yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm gonna have to
Honey to
do
the
it.
End is great. I read the first two issues.
I
I'm
read the
really
I read the first issue to see if I would go the rest of the way. You had recommendations, so I'm going the rest of the way. It's 5 or 6 issues, I assume. I'll
yeah. I
get
think
back
it's
to you
5.
there.
Yep. You
I'm
got
gonna
one
do
more.
one. I'm gonna do like a whole segment where instead of me running my mouth about nothing, I'll just cover like these little 5 issue deals because I got Haunt You to the End, Bryn Moore, uh, Sirens of the City, just different things running
Yep.
like that. This I'll take a minute for because I got this solely for this Momo, or I think it was
Howard the
Momoka.
Duck. Forget about
Howard the
Monoka,
Duck.
bro. That's what
Yeah,
I've been looking for.
all Howard the Duck covers end up in my box. X-Men Annual got the nod to the cartoon, which is
Yep.
actually the beginning of my hatred for all things MCU. As far as I'm concerned, that is cartoons garbage. Uh, I got suckered into Conan because I was on the fence about it. I picked it up when the first issue dropped, and it looks like everything that you want if you read old school Conan mags. And I used to read old school Conan mags and old school heavy metal, and so I still love that stuff. So if you're into just Conan for what Conan is, this was actually perfect. But the reason why I got suckered into it, and you should know why,
The homie, Alan Quah, much love.
because of this
And it's
insane
and
Alan
those are
Claw
the
cover.
types of characters and the types of poses that he excels to the millionth degree at.
Bro, he killed me with this. I can tell you that. Let me put those two aside.
Titan can
I
thank him for 2 more sales.
Yeah, for real though. Ronin book 2 still going on. I actually have the old Ronin, like old original first print. Not that it's worth anything, but I have it. And so I wanted to get this too, just to be complimentary. And it had the dope Philip Tan artwork and everything. What's up, girl? I haven't talked to you since you left for Maryland. I gotta catch up with her. Anyway, so I had to get this just to bookend it. And the sequential art is beautiful, but this has been coming out the entire time that I've known you. I haven't read it yet. So one day that 5 part will be available to you. I also today was my week. Alan Quah covers. Oh, you can't see this one. Oh, you'll never be able to see how beautiful this is. There we go.
What is that?
So this is Bloodborne, the Bleak Dominion,
Oh,
number
then it's
one.
just the black and white because 'cause they'd always do one black and white, and it was
Correct.
Quah this time around, huh?
So for a guy who has never played this video game, this is the second time I've been duped into this damn comic book because of Alan Quah and his beautiful, beautiful artwork. These these landscapes and the details that he takes in the back are just ridiculous. And if you could get up on some of these, if I could
So
get up on
Dan
some of these
Dan
details,
says he picked up that Bloodborne cover too. Dude, we've made like
that's what's up.
I know Alan was super popular before. Like I know he was, but I feel like we've made this like small extra group of Alan fans over our just immense love for the man.
You made it because I didn't know who he was until you showed me.
Oh,
So
there we go.
yeah, so I'm from the 80s and 90s where you have to give someone credit for being the first at something because you're just a poser. And so you were the guy that introduced me to Alan Claw, both his artwork and physically. So, you know what I mean? So I really appreciate that. In fact, in that vein, I actually got 3 Alan Claw covers this week.
Hey,
This one was not a throwaway just for the cover. I am very, very, very
you've been
in
reading that. Well,
yes.
and Dan says Bloodborne's well written too.
Is
So
it?
might be yep, there you go. Might
I
be worth
only have the 2 issues, and I didn't even know it was a video game until I saw it in the PlayStation Store, and I was like, "Ooh!" And then I tried to play it, and I was like,
like,
"This is not my game."
Does Alan Quah draw the game too?
I know, right? I wish. But so Gargoyles still, once again, if you have any love for Gargoyles, you should be reading that. Gargoyles Dark Ages is a magnificent spin-off involving the generation before. So you get to see like the root of what takes place in the cartoon. Still written by Weisman, so still
Yep.
canon,
Yep.
so stoked about it. Couldn't recommend it more. Interior art is the same. Looks like the cartoon, but today. I'm into this. I'm into the He-Man.
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, Tim Seeley, who just has become like the offbeat IP guru, like GI Joe, Star Wars, GI Joe versus Star Wars, or not Star Wars, Transformers. So yeah, he did GI Joe, he did Transformers, he did Transformers versus GI Joe, he did GI Joe versus Transformers. I think he did GI Joe versus Transformers versus like he did it all. So he's doing versus about it. I like it. Something is killing the children, number 33. I got this cover because I like it a lot. Nice cardstock. That'll usually convince me. Another, I anytime that she does creepy Spider-Man, I'm usually about it, and this is no exception. This is spine tingling Spider-Man. This is a physical compilation or collection, anyways, of a web comic. I haven't read
Mhm.
this one yet. It's written by Ahmed though,
It
so
is, and it's like it's a horror take on
yep,
Spider-Man, which I think is
yep.
unique. That was one of the
Yeah,
questions I shot over to him for the, interview was like, "What's it like writing a horror Spider-Man?" Because like, unless it involves the black suit, and even then, there's not really any horror in that franchise for the most part.
Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man from
Yep,
last year,
there you go, there you
which
go.
was really cool. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. Alpha Flight number 2. This is a
Oh, you
comic book. Sirens of the City number 3. This is the Manhanini.
Yep, Lauren got that too. Lauren's
Yep.
reading that.
So I read the first 2 issues. I haven't read this. It's supernatural. It's punk rock. It's gritty. Once again, representation matters. And like I said, I told you that I was going to steal this line from you because I love it so much. If you don't buy the books, they're not going to make the books. Enough said. After that, should you buy it just because of that? No. But the interior art's rad. The story's good. I'm enjoying it. I don't have a full synopsis. I haven't read the full thing. Uncanny Avengers number 2 is also a comic book.
Awesome Psylocke cover.
Yeah, it's the one I picked.
Strange
Strange
Academy, with
Academy.
another one shot in that Strange Academy,
We got
like,
one more, which is Spider-Man, and that's to finish the Solve for X is what's going on here. Yeah, the interior art is really good for Sirens. It looks like a storyboard for a Castlevania anime. Like
yeah.
that's a good way to put it, actually. So, and with that, I've got 2 more, and that's going to be Big Game because this is my absolute favorite thing that
Dude,
I'm
you've been
reading,
loving that. Pepe
and
and
it
dude, Pepe is gonna be at a New York Comic Con, I think, with
is he
Scott's. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
might be.
I didn't realize he was a Scott's guy.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that's been. It's only been like the last few months or so. But I remember when they made a big deal to push some of his House of X art and
Yeah.
Powers of X
Yep.
art.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So, dude, I don't know what to tell you. This, if you don't know a lot about these other properties in the Mark Millar verse that I've been talking about that go on with Big Game, don't worry about it. Half of them die in this issue. You should read this book. You should read this book. This book's nonstop. Has great time. I have a smile on my face the whole time. But hands down, the best comic book that I read this week is going to be War Journal, Green Lantern with John Stewart.
Philip Kennedy Johnson, my boy.
This this cover, man. Like I said, it was a tough pick either way, but this one is just the one that grabbed me the most. I thought it was a really powerful image. I really enjoyed the outer space scene that's in the negative of the costume. Uh, so let me tell you, when I think that the last time I was current on anything going on with John Stewart or the Green Lantern Corps was like, what do I have? I've got, is it Rebirth? I think I've got like the trade for Rebirth or something. Like that's how bad it is. Like I know,
He
look,
would have maybe been on Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps in Rebirth, but yeah, like it's been a while to be fair.
like the only time I was really like up to date in the comics on what's going on with John Stewart is was during the 80s. So like other than that, I mostly saw him on like Justice League and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
but I remember when Jeff Johns came in and just kind of started like redesigning like how all their powers work. And my friend Matt was like, he's John Stewart fanatic, and he's always trying to tell me more about it. And then he's like, but you don't understand. He's like an engineer, and so his constructs like come together like a machine would. And I always love that.
So, it's funny you say, and Dan was talking about how John Stewart's the best too. But
Yeah.
so because the week before that book came out, I heard a lot of old heads say, "Yeah, I like John's like because the book's called War Journal." So
Hmm.
like I like his veteran background, but it's like they kind of a lot of people forgotten about his architecture, but because he originally started as an architect.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the first questions I asked Philip Kennedy Johnson was like, is there going to be something in here for the fans of like John Stewart, the architect? And he's like, dude, there's
Yes.
a lot of
Yes.
stuff with the guy who likes John Stewart, the architect. So like, I think Philip Kennedy Johnson's one of those guys, man. And when I asked him what he's reading, he said that most of what he gets to read at this point is just for research, which means the
Yeah.
guy's doing research, though. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Which is
saying? Like,
more than you normally hear.
yeah,
Normally you hear, oh, we hate this person, and I'm probably going to kill him off within 4 issues.
yeah. So
Look at that with
he
Psylocke, like straight up.
Yeah. So I
So,
like anything Philip does. I mean, even his Action Comics. I'm not a Superman guy, but I like
oh,
that. So like he's doing 007 right now. He's doing that War Journal. He's doing Action Comics. And he's doing Hulk. He's doing 4 books, man.
oh
And the
wow,
guy's active duty military still.
that's what's up. I
And
love that.
he's in a traveling jazz band.
As
So
any good man is.
he's only gonna be at New York Comic Con 2 days because his band goes on a concert the next. I was like, dude, you are crazy, and I don't know how you do any of
Any
what.
good man has spent a summer in a traveling jazz band, Danny.
All right,
But
so
I'll real quick, cause I just a little bit more on that book. I know I told you I would talk too much, but like this, it had action, it had heart tug moments, and I wasn't ready for that. And for a guy who was like, I'm gonna take a risk on a couple of DC titles, and there's, obviously they just rebooted Hal as well, and I was like, and I'm gonna take a, I just out of the two of them, I was hoping that I thought that they could do more with John Stewart. Like once you've read like all the stuff that I've read with Hal Jordan, I'm not interested anymore. And so I'm super glad that I picked up this book. I absolutely love where they're going with it, and it had some badass moments. The interior art was phenomenal. I didn't know how it was gonna look. I made a decision based on just where my head was and my heart was, and then my eyes were super pleased as well. And with that, I'll let it go so we can actually do what we're here to do.
that's probably the first book I'm gonna read this week when I get a chance to sit down.
Loved
That and
that
Rare
book. It was
Flavors.
really well written.
So FOC, gonna fly through this just because FOC is FOC. You can always view FOC at previewsworld.com/final orders due. Now when you go there as just a let's call it a commoner, if you go there without an account, you will not see DC. You may not see Image because I haven't been to that point yet. But if you let's say are working with a store that has pull box like Blackbird, you will be able to see everything you can order from here. If I have to order something, I might, but really, I'm just gonna scroll through for you guys. So we're still on audio, Roy. So just because I made it full screen, don't think I made you go bye bye.
You're good.
Coda
I'm
number
always on.
2 is on FOC. Coda number 1, that's the new volume. Beautiful book that is on FOC. We have Rare Flavors 1 second printing. So Rare Flavors has done well enough that second printing's jumped on. Sirens of the City 4 is a Rudolph and a Franny cover. And there's an FOC reveal cover by Allison Sampson. So art is not done for that. There is a baseball cap for Something is Killing the Children.
I thought about it.
I'm not logged in, so that goes to show you. Give me a second.
Uh-oh.
Right? I screwed up. That's my fault.
Oh,
Or
good thing I was on my manners. Snap back to me. I could be doing all kinds of things.
All right. Now we're logged in. So that's DC. You guys saw that? If you're not logged in, you don't get DC. It's like the way
That's
it goes.
correct.
Uh Bjorn Barnen's doing a 6 Batman Superman World's Finest B cover. I honestly have a feeling like I'm gonna have to go and pick up that last issue that is the jumping on point because with the covers right now, I might be reading this book soon. I don't know. I'll have to let you know.
Okay.
There's this Magog embossed foil cover. It looks really wild.
Ooh.
Embossed and foil, dude. I
Ooh.
don't even know. I
Good
could have
thing I didn't
sworn there
see
was an
that.
image for this, and actually, Dave was telling me the other day to just jump on Lunar. He was very smart. He's like, just jump on Lunar, and you'll be able to see the image. And he's absolutely correct. But this is the Trick or Treat cover by Christy Zulu for Batman Superman.
So it's cute.
It
Super
is
cute.
super cute. So this is the corrected foil edition of Jim Lee, which
I
you
already
showed
bought
off.
it once, bro.
Yeah, bro, you don't need twice. David Nakayama doing Catwoman. This Delato Catwoman is sexy. I'm not gonna lie. Looks super
Yeah.
realistic. Cyborg number 4, War Journal 2, some fire covers. You've got a
Taj
cover,
Tenfold.
a cover by Taj Benfold. I think the Zhang Yang is one of the best ones, but also Delato because that's clearly John Stewart, but behind him that looks like maybe Hal in
Yeah, that's why I got the John Jang
the
instead.
constellation. I thought that was a weird mix. I always got to give love to Derek Chu. So he is on the cover for Hot Girl 4.
It's a beautiful
Um,
cover.
that's a book. And then Harley Quinn Black, White, and Redder has a sick Bocello cover. So that's there. This is my FOC book of the week is Jay Garrick the Flash. Some of you might be asking, who cares about Jay Garrick? He's an old man.
John Wesley Shipp does.
Well, John Wesley Shipp does, and so does Jeremy Adams, because Jeremy Adams is coming back. He was the guy who wrote 1 Minute War. He wrote The Flash there right after Josh Williamson. He's now writing Green Lantern,
Ah,
but he's coming back for this 6 issue miniseries to write Jay Garrick and his daughter, which I think is great. I FOC'd a lot of covers. I
and that's
FOC'd.
Jesse Quick, right?
No, this is so this is like a actual daughter because Jesse Quick is technically Max Mercury's like sis. I don't know. It's all convoluted to be fair, but this is his long lost daughter Judy, which is named after his wife. So like it is
Okay.
like it's them making a new character, but them being like this character should have kind of always been this,
Oh, Spider-Boy.
like yeah.
Okay,
Lauren's like, "Gee, I ordered too many covers. I only ordered two, okay? I only ordered two.
that's not bad.
Um, so I ordered the Acuna cover, and then of course, instead of doing the A cover, I did the foil Corona cover, which I think is gonna come out sick.
It looks cool.
Um, then there is Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong,
They
which like
sucked me in with this.
I'll admit, dude, totally a gimmick book, right? Like
Oh yeah,
absolutely a gimmick book. Absolutely. It's Predator versus Wolverine to the nth degree.
absolutely.
But IFOC because it's who's writing this? Somebody decent-ish is
I don't
writing this.
know.
Of course it doesn't tell me.
My wife loves
Br-
Godzilla. This was a
Brian
no-brainer for me.
Brian Buccia Buccellotto?
Who? Yeah,
Um, who's done Injustice. Like he did Injustice after Tom Taylor. So like, but I ordered that Francisco Matina cover because it is pretty sick. It looks like it has like the whole Justice League. Like literally people you ain't never seen before. Like you've seen only in Justice League Unlimited, all trying to fight Godzilla. So I was sold on it. Like I did. Flash is running
I
there.
I ordered whatever this make-believe thing is that you're highlighted right now. I don't even know if
This
that's gonna get accepted.
this or this?
The one, no, the one on the right of that.
This?
Yep.
This is the Jim Lee. It's gonna get accepted.
But why is it? Is it just that he turned in that rough piece? Like, I mean, what's up with
He
the
probably
border?
turned that piece in last week, and
You
the
think
person
that's what
that's
it
in
is?
charge of putting the trade dress on it was on vacation.
So
So
they
they're
just
like, "Oh."
snapshot that beast and rolled
So
forward, huh?
because I highly doubt it'll be a virgin because it would say virgin. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
So
I
like,
mean, I
granted,
couldn't tell.
none of these have a trade dress, so clearly that person's been on vacation for a while. Is all I'll
Sure.
say. But I mean, I think it'll be a fun book. It's absolutely a gimmick book. I'm not going to pretend it's not.
Right.
Nightwing apparently goes swashbuckling in issue 107, so check that out.
The cover's always killing, man. I'll never
Su-
pick it up, but
yeah, right. Superman 7 is officially issue 850 of Superman in the Legacy numbering. So there's a few covers. There's a Libra Mayo. There's a Frank Cho doing the Frank Cho pose. I feel like he always has Superman with an eagle going on his arm.
right.
Nakayama does his take on that.
The cover
David
bleeds.
Finch. David Finch got a sick cover there.
Yeah.
And I do like the Jim Lee foil. I'm not gonna lie. It would match. Is that what you got? That matches the Batman.
Yeah, I've got that because I've actually got that issue signed by Jim Lee.
Yeah, that issue. I think I own that one too. The Batman one's a little harder to find, so I don't own that one, but I do own that Superman.
Yeah,
Titans 4. I'm sub to that. The Jem Bartel cover is sick.
yeah, it is.
There's also a Trick or Treat cover. I think it's cute as hell because it's literally like it literally looks like trick or treaters dressed up as the Titans. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's cool.
And I bet the other one looks very much like that.
Yeah, yeah. The other one's probably bats and
Yeah,
suits, and who knows.
yeah, very
Wonder
similar in
Woman
nature.
2 is on FOC. Tom King's. I also went with the Trick or Treat cover again. There's a few nice covers: Delato, Tedesco, Samney. But yeah, that was what I went with. Marvel Alpha Flight is a comic book, as Roy said. Uh,
Yep.
Amazing Spider-Man 36, they're chugging along there. Captain
More of
America
that.
2, this is J. Michael Straczynski. I've heard good things about it from the gallery recently. So, if you want to jump in on Captain America and it's just Steve, this is kind of your opportunity. Daredevil is going to a second print for number 1. Looks like that's an internal page there. Dark X-Men 3, I do like that Dan Panosian cover. There's also a Scotty Young cover. So Manny, I don't know if Manny's watching. I'll make sure to send him a message.
I
There's
got
at
that,
least one
Scotty.
Scotty. I think it's a cool Scotty.
Dude, I just pulled the last issue of that Weapons of Vengeance, and like there's the trade paperback. Like
Yeah.
the turnaround on that is so fast these days that like for an older guy like me, that stuff blows my mind.
Dude,
It's like
especially because back in the day, like, I say back in the day, honestly, just like 4 or 5 years ago, it would be like 6 months before you got
yeah.
your trade
So
paperback.
it hasn't been that long since it's been that different. Like it's just like it wows me, and that and the boxes. Like you come in and it's like, oh, I just FOC'd this issue, and like here's the box, and like now I have to have it. And the only thing left to do is beg the poor comic book shop owner if you can have the poster when they're done.
So we pointed out
Sorry if that
DC's
sounds specific.
money grab for the week, and I'm just gonna go ahead and point out Marvel's money grab. There's apparently another Hallows Eve book
There's
because
no way this time. Not this time,
the
buddy.
4 issues before were so
Not
amazing.
this time.
So Hallows Eve, the big night, issue 1. There's a Comanchillo cover, and then there's a Ron Lim cover, and you do what you will with that information.
Right.
Immortal Thor 3.
If you
Uh,
love it, love it.
Dude, Al Ewing, this has been received really well. There's a new
Al Ewing's good.
champions. There's a JR, and JRSR cover. There's a few good covers there. Jean Grey 3, Sway hitting y'all with the B cover there.
I got that one, obviously.
Local comic shop day, Spider Boy #1. That's probably gonna be something that people are gonna be after.
I
So
also ordered that,
yes,
not knowing if I
order it
would get
through.
it.
I will speak for every comic store in the country, not just Blackbird, and I can imagine I speak for David and Aaron a little bit too. FOC this book. If you're not on Pollbox, call your local comic shop, Facebook message them, email them. Diamond code is AUG238027, because I'm sure what's going to happen is this is Spider Boy's first ongoing series. It's a local comic shop day variant. It's going to be the lowest print run of the Spider Boy #1s other than incentives, and it's only going to go for $5.99. So this will sell out fast. It doesn't matter what a store orders, it'll sell it fast. It'll
Yeah,
sell
these
out
are
fast.
all going to be gone. They're still crying about this book. This book is still in the top 10 of movers on cover price. Like the Spider Boy stuff is going to, they're going to gobble it all up all over again.
Yep.
And you got a bunch of people who are still crying that they didn't do it the first time, and they're going to be coming after it with a vengeance. It's going to look like Black Friday to get this book.
Yep. So that's why we do this show, so that you guys know of things like this. So you got one more day if you're watching this live to get that in. Marvel Unleashed 3. I do like this. What are these things called? A flurgan? A flurgan jurgen?
Sure.
Sure.
I
But
think
yeah,
so.
I do like
It's
this
MCU stuff. Well, I don't know where that Captain Marvel stuff where that originally came from. If it's not Marvel, I'm not. It's not my Marvel.
doing about it.
Captain
All
Marvel.
right,
Yeah.
what do you think, Roy? What do you think of Marvel Zombies back Black, White, and Blood?
Uh, well, first of all, I passed on it, but if I felt like I could just pick it up for whatever, I would have. I have most of the Marvel zombie stuff from back in the day. But they just beat that genre to death so bad, and Marvel beat this title into the ground with like Marvel Zombies 3, Marvel Zombies 4. By the time they got to like Marvel Zombies 5, the bottom of the barrel, I was like, I don't know. It got off the rails. So I don't know what this is. Is it like
It's
is it a
probably anthology.
retelling?
Yeah,
Is it a
it's Garth Ennis and other writers doing like little. It's kind of like
so it's new material?
yeah, new material, but they're all going to be short stories because they're anthology style as opposed to each issue. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it has potential, especially if it's Garth Ennis, and it's got to be better than the What If Dark book. So if you're looking for some Marvel horror, that might not be bad. I mean, I don't think I'm going to pick it up, but I've been known to be wrong about everything. So,
so
on the other hand, I am picking up that stupid Miss Marvel book you just scrolled past.
uh,
So,
so
don't take my word for it.
before I get to that, I do want to show off because I think these are really great ways to get into characters. These are called the Mighty Marvel Masterworks collections. This volume 1 of Silver Surfer. 15.99 gets you, I think it's the first 12 issues of Silver Surfer ever.
That's
And
cool.
they will continue these if they're successful. But it's cool. 15.99 is a great price to get something that it will cost you a lot of money to get in any other format other than digital. And there's even a comic like what do you call it? Read Previews World exclusive covers. So one of these will be available at like a Barnes and Noble, and one of these will only be available at your local comic stores, which I think is
Ooh,
the old school one.
yeah,
All
probably.
right, so Miss Marvel, written by Miss Marvel herself. There's an A cover, there's a homage cover, and there's a Peach Momoko cover. Which one? Oh, and did you do the Dodson?
Yes.
Of course you did. So that's a book. Um, Predator versus Wolverine 2. That's on FOC down to 5.99 from 7.99. So these are always going to probably be extra size books now, but at least they're like a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, he was heavy. It was a heavy book. I got that
So
Team X cover also because that's
A
my guy.
cover that Gary Frank is sick. Which
It's
one did you
cool.
get?
I
A
got
or
the Team X cover, the A cover, because it's got
okay,
Team X. That's my kid stuff. When they first
okay.
started throwing back to Wolverine's old memories and stuff, and he was a CIA operative with Sabretooth, and that stuff was cool.
So then we have Realm of X3. That's a magic book, right? Magic,
Yep.
magic.
Yep. If you read like Realm of X and that was you loved that Otherworld stuff, that's more Otherworld stuff, except for now they're not in Otherworld, except they kind of are, but they're also kind of in Asgard.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, but I believe it's an all-female team. So there's that, and I'm for it. I
So
read the
the
first one and I don't know, like it's hopefully it
first
gets
one's all
better.
that's out so far. This is one of those weird ones where two's probably coming out next week and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah,
Um,
hopefully it goes somewhere. So far, the first issue alone is not that great for me.
just in case my boy Nick is watching, or even my homie Josh from the old shop. So Star Wars, there is a action figure cover, which is John Tyler Christopher. There is a Clone Wars cover, that's for Nick. There is a Return of the Jedi cover, that's also for Nick.
My feelings
Uh,
would be hurt if Nick does not watch us, just to be honest.
dude, Nick's busy guy.
I
If
don't care.
Roberto's watching, Roberto, I know you need that Uncanny Avengers David
That's the
Knuckles.
one I got. Yeah, that's
I
badass.
know
Oops.
that's what you want, Roberto. So that's a thing. There's also a connecting cover, um, and there's also a Nick Bradshaw. But like to be fair, dude, they Unknown Comics usually has these as exclusives. So
Yeah, they're
like,
stealing the idea from Darren because
yeah,
Darren's a genius.
yep.
Bro, I got
So
a funny story about Darren next time we have time.
okay, so Uncanny Spider-Man is getting its second issue, a cover, a Lee Garbett cover, and then the Rose Besh
Rose
is
Besh.
very cool. Like I like her style on that.
I like that she's not directly translating over what she's been doing for DC these last few months on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
book.
it's not just a tiny, like a Scotty Young looking thing,
It's
you know?
yeah, it's reminiscent of all of that, but it's still its own piece, and I really enjoyed that. And that's definitely the cover that I got.
Yeah, exactly. So Wolverine 37 is going to a second print. Looks like an interior page. I'm guessing there's a new character who showed up.
Uh,
X-Men 129 facsimile edition. Roy, what happens in X-Men 129?
I don't,
Oh,
I I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know issue numbers. I might have that book.
Meanwhile, the Hellfire Club's Jason Wingard exerts his influence over Jean Grey in the
Okay, so
first
now I
first
know what it is.
chapter of the Dark Phoenix
Yeah,
saga.
I'm gonna say
So,
now I know what it is. If you hum a few bars, I can probably get there. And I
so,
actually do have issue 179. Rad.
so Dynamite, we're gonna skip
Not
over a lot,
forgetting that cover.
but Gargoyles has a Halloween special on FOC.
Ordered
Um,
the Andolfo.
Alan did not do a cover, but yeah, Andolfo phenomenal job
He's
on that.
he's doing all 5 covers for that Dark Ages. I think that's the only place we're
Oh,
gonna see
okay.
him there.
I know Candace at Blackbird's at least semi intrigued by Al Capone vampire. You know,
Awesome.
I'm like, that's interesting.
I would take
Interesting.
her advice on anything though, as far as
Interesting.
reading.
Antarctica 4. I just stick with the A covers.
Now an ongoing series.
There is a Walking Dead 20th anniversary cover, which Image is doing on some of their books. Big Game 4, just going with the simple A and then the black and white of A. Oh, no, and there's a Scalara back there. I see it.
I've been getting the black and white, so I'll probably just continue to do that.
Nice. Let's see what else is like noteworthy. Archie has been doing like these like kind of like Archie horror stuff. So there's Fear the Funhouse, Toy Box of Terror, two cool covers. That one
That's where
looks
he's
like
got to marry both of them.
that's hilarious.
Sounds like the nightmare to me.
So I was never a hack slash person, but like I understand that it's like it's got a fandom. So there's hack
It does.
slash back to school. Got a lot of covers. Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. I haven't read issue 1 yet, but I have it. It's
I
got
have.
3 covers there.
Yeah, I got issue number 2. I got that Vasquez cover coming.
Vasquez cover looks like, is that an homage to something kind of? It has to be. I
I
feel like,
believe so. Yeah, it looks like something is killing the children. Actually,
yeah.
now that you
Um,
look at it, I didn't even notice. I just preferred the cover. But it looks like an
Kill,
homage to something that's killing the children.
Kill Your Darlings 2 is on FOC. Few covers, that Walking Dead one. It was a hot book. I haven't read number one yet, but we were absolutely sold out, and they're going to a second print. So don't miss out on that.
Do you know what it's about,
No, I
other
didn't
than
read
clicking
it.
on it?
It's like a horror, it's a horror book. It's like in line with something is killing the children, kind of. I just
Gotcha.
haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Heard that.
I didn't want to have the FOMO though, so like I got the first issue, you know.
That's what's up. I respect that.
My Little Pony. No, that's like, I mean, I'm sure My Little Pony. You can jump into it at any time if your kiddo needs it.
Yeah,
Um,
I would assume we'll back check on some lore. You know, Wikipedia is your friend on stuff like that,
what
man.
is this? Is this homaging Masters of the Universe, Roy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's plot holes number 3. Oh yeah, it says it right there. Masters of the Universe homage.
Oh, Whiskers, yes, sure does.
Um, let's see what else we got. What else we got?
That Saga number 66 went to a second printing. Obviously, that's a
So
thing
that
going
is
on right now.
actually it isn't as much of the because it's a key and this and that and the third. That was the final book that had to FOC via Diamond before Image moved over to Lunar, and it happened to be
Oh.
literally the only Image book on that FOC.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I don't remember
So
that being that book, but
some people might have very easily, like stores even, forgot to order it. So the second print is the only way. I mean, honestly, they could have probably gone back and printed the first print, right? But like, it's the only way they could get it out there because this is the end of the arc. They're gonna go on a
okay,
3-month hiatus, and then you'll get 67 probably in January.
heard that.
It's nice to be informed, right?
Yeah, man.
Something Crawled Out looks interesting. It's by Vault Comics. They're always very nice. They support a lot of very new and independent creators. So
Nice.
that looks interesting. It looks like a horror book. Um, there is a new Stranger Things. Stranger Things number 1, The Voyage. This is let's just call it In the World of Stranger Things book. It features completely new characters. A guy doing so he's essentially a captain of a vessel of like a freighter ship, and he goes into the upside down. So these are all original characters. So you're probably not going to see like 11 and the Goofy Kid and the other Goofy Kid and all the Goofy Kids. But if you like horror, it's Stranger. Dude, that's the only person whose name I actually know. Then there's like the
Bro,
Goofy
I
Kid with the
just
curly
adore
hair.
you,
um, let's see what else. If there's anything else great, The Man from Maybe. It's from Oni Press, but it seems interesting. It looks like a weird version of the Shadow. Weirdly enough. Um, Walking Dead is on FOC. They've got 4 covers. The Witcher Wild Animals is on FOC. That's issue 2. And that is it for the FOC. Um, we're a little over, but because we wanted to push the new format this week, let's jump into what is next, which is the way, and this won't happen every week. There won't be a double dip. Uh, After this week, we will be able to go completely into this. Gosh, cookies! There's cookies everywhere. I'm hungry for cookies.
man. Nom
So
nom.
we're gonna show off next week's new comic book day, so that way, if you're watching, you can actually be prepared for what you're gonna walk into on Wednesday at your local comic book store.
Instead of just seeing all the goodies that I bought last week, you too can get you some goodies.
Yeah. So Boom has a lot of books on issues 3 and 4. Creed is on its final issue. Alice Ever After is on its third issue. There's that sick Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Bjorn Barnes, Green Ranger,
I
sick.
definitely ordered that. Yeah.
There's also these other. If you're a Rangers fan, this is the week that they just said you
It's
want stuff.
dude, if you're a Rangers fan, it's been like your 2 years, right? Like it's been blowing up over there.
Yeah, and like these covers are fire. I mean, they hit
Yeah.
their 100th issue. Yeah, it's a good time. If you are an old school R.L. Stein fan, it's a good time too because there's another Stuff of Nightmares. It's called Red Murder, Francavilla. Super cool. There's always an homage that makes it look like a book, which is right here. It makes it look like a Goosebumps.
Yeah.
There's a glow in the dark, which is always cool. There's actually 2 glow in the darks this time, so that'll be next week. Of course, I'm not logged in, so let me do
Ah.
that and log in. Now I am logged. Oh, it's because I got to refresh. The internet is terrible. It's a
I'm
terrible
not gonna
place.
see 11 or that goofy kid or
Or that
that
goofy
other
kid,
goofy kid.
or the
That
other
other
goofy
goofy
kid.
kid. It's gonna
Dude,
have me laughing for the rest of the day.
I know all about Stranger Things, brother. So, Action Comics 150 or 1057, that is Philip Kennedy Johnson, the homie right there. There is a Godzilla Kong variant. Batgirl Year One trade paperback. It's a nice way to read some Batgirl if you ever wanted to jump down that. Batman Beyond Neo Gothic. I almost forgot about this book, but this book is fire. Make sure to pick that up.
Yep.
Batman Catwoman Gotham War Red Hood 1, which is technically Batman Catwoman Gotham War Part 3. It's a lot to intake, but I believe if you're just a Red Hood fan, you could read those two issues and be fine.
It's
If
really
you just
misleading that it says Guar. Like, there's no Guar in those books. Don't be. You're gonna be disappointed if you expect to see
Guar,
your
baby.
favorite thrash metal band Guar in there, and they're not there.
Oh man.
Makes me sad. I've seen Guar in concert. That's a great show.
It's a good show, good show.
I mean, it depends on what you're into, but
um Detective Comics 1074 should be a jumping on point. It's actually a detective. So it's Batman versus the Demon, which I think will be a cool little, if you haven't been reading Ram V's Detective Comics. Only Steve matters from Strange. Yeah, see, that's not the goofy looking kid. I forgot about Steve. And there's like another kid that's like not goofy looking and everybody likes. I think he plays guitar.
meh.
I
I don't
don't think
believe you.
I don't think those are the same kid, but I could be wrong. But there is a Hispanic Heritage Villa Lobos of the Renee Montoya question, which I ordered, as you can see. There is a Godzilla Kong. All right, so next week, Flash number one. We're all gonna find out what Cy Spurrier's got up his sleeve. Yeah, Dan, I think that's gonna be cool. It's an Etrigan and Batman story. There's
Yeah.
full covers there. I went with the Renee Montoya, but Rom V's been doing a real gothic noir and gothic like opera type of thing, and it's really cool. Um, so A cover for Flash. There's a B cover
Bless
featuring
you.
what I think is Mirror Master. Um,
I would
Dan
assume.
Mora cover is beautiful. The Rose Besh cover, as we talked about, it's what she's doing at DC. Her little chibi characters. There's a blank, and then there's a Roz foil, and then yeah, that has to be Mirror Master on that A cover because
Yeah.
we're reprinting the first appearance of Mirror Master as well. So if you're a Flash fan, this is the week for you.
I'm getting on this because I love you so much, and I'm definitely starting with that Raza foil. So that made it easier to make the leap.
Dude, we're gonna read this first issue and we're gonna go through it together because like
Okay.
I'll admit I'm tough to please when it comes to Flash. Like I'll give that background. Did not love Jeremy Adams' Flash to start, and it wasn't because Jeremy wasn't doing a good job writing. It wasn't because he had good beats. It was because I'm not a Wally guy. So it took me a very long time to get into his thing, and this is still Wally stuff.
Okay.
But I'm all about it, man. I gotta support. Like, if you just stop buying the book, DC's not gonna think, "Oh, Wally doesn't sell." They're gonna think Flash doesn't sell. So
True that.
here we are. Green Arrow, 4 of 6. I love that Kendrick Lim cover. I'm not reading this book, but holy cow, that Kendrick Lim cover is gorgeous.
Tough to turn down, but he already got my money with Zatanna.
Yeah, there you got you. Harley Quinn 32. Sweeney Boo is on this now. A cover is cool. Sweeney Boo's art is beautiful. The Jenny Frieson blowing the bubble gum is awesome, and I feel
Yeah.
like the Rose Besh is awesome. I
Yeah,
feel
for
like both
sure.
of these are clean. Penguin number 2. I haven't been reading that, but that is Tom King. Power Girl number 1. She's obviously got a
Oh
plethora of
crap.
covers. Gary Frank. This one, I know Dan ain't gonna love this because this is I think Leo Williams. Yeah, it is Leo Williams. Um, Gary Frank, John Boy Myers, Sozo
Sozo
Micah,
Micah.
and
Now
then
I'm gonna
the
go back and
Warren Lau foil cover is really where it's at. To be fair, Static is on issue 6 of 6, so season 2 is about to end. You've got JJ Lopez and then the Nikolai's Draper Ivy. Tales of Teen of the Titans number 3 is a Donna Troy story. So, oh, dude, that I can't believe I passed on that Rose Besh, but that is gorgeous.
it is.
But these are like, even though it's a 4 issue miniseries, it runs like the way George Perez and Wolfman did it back in the day, where each one is an origin and kind of background on one specific character. So that's what this
Right.
is. Doom Patrol, Unstoppable Doom Patrol number 6. I have all of these issues, but I haven't read them yet. I do love me some Doom Patrol. The show is about to finish up its 4th season, and Flex Metallo is on this cover just looking as half naked as ever.
Right, right.
Rose Besh did a Wildcats. So if you're doing Wildcats, you have a third option this
I
time.
caught that Rose Besh
You
Wildcat
did the
stuff.
Besh? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm surprised this Wildcats appears to be an ongoing because there's no
Nah, the 12 is
ending.
the last issue.
Oh, 12 is the last issue?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So Marvel, actually, let's see what the comments say. So at Dan is Team Wally. If it pulled her off of X-Men, I would love it for Leah Williams. Um, Marvel has a lot, I'm sure. There's the final connecting Alex Ross cover, which I feel like took forever to come out, but it's Avengers 5 there. Avengers Annual, I can't believe Contest of Chaos is still happening, but it is.
Dude.
Um, Blade 3, feel like it's been a while on that.
Yeah, it
Dark
does
X-Men's
feel
going to a second print. Death of Venomverse 2 is going to a second print. Manny, I don't know if Manny ordered that. I know he's gonna want one. Death of Venomverse 5, that's a gorgeous cover, I'm not gonna lie. There's a Saturday morning
yeah.
cartoon, there's a design variant. The Bagley's good. The other Venom, by I think that's Stegman is good. Immortal Thor 2, we just talked about 3 going on FOC. 2 has an awesome George Perez cover. Let's see. Invincible Iron Man 10, Jean Grey 2, Peach Momoko 60th anniversary cover with that red costume's pretty dope. We were talking about Marvel Unleashed 3 and how it had the Flurgan cover or whatever.
Yeah.
So 2 did a Throg and a Lucky. I guess this is I totally remember now. This is the book that's like just all the it's like the super pets, but they didn't have a better name for it at Marvel. So
Right.
Dan asked, is Uncanny Avengers any good? Did you read the first issue, Roy?
I did. I didn't like it very much. No. I didn't read any of the original Uncanny Avengers stuff when they did all that, so I don't know if somehow that could have made it better. Uh, but I no, I did not enjoy it at all. Although I'm going to continue to pick it up because for me, like I said, they've got until this Fall of X, Rise of Power of X, and then after that, I'm going to make some serious decisions on how much of this I'm going to continue to collect just because it's got an X in it. Because it's a huge letdown for me, like all of it. There are
so
shining moments, but like not worth the cost.
so there's a Micronauts reprint, and then of course a foil. Is ROM cooler than the Micronauts, Roy?
ROM is cooler than the Micronauts, for sure. I don't see any of this stuff that you're looking at while oh, because you're looking at what's coming out tomorrow. I'm so dumb.
I'm on. I hit new releases, and
Yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah,
new
yeah.
week
All right.
now, so that's why.
No, I don't think that the Micronauts are as cool as ROM because, like with ROM, like the deal is like their enemy is the dire wraiths, and they're like destroying like civilizations and planets. And so on Galador, they're gonna raise an army, and they're gonna turn this army into these cybernetic warriors. And the deal is like you can't get they keep your human bits, and you can't get your human bits back until all the until the war is won. And so they go out and they sacrifice their humanity and they wage this war on the dire wraiths and they actually win. And everyone is like, cool, we're going to go home and get our fleshy bits back. And your boy Rom is like, nah, because when we blew up the planet, like now there's like this dire wraith diaspora throughout the galaxy. And I'm not giving up my medal until I've hunted them all down. And so he goes out on that. And so then he crash lands on Earth and he just runs afoul of like everyone in Marvel, like Dazzler, like just everyone in Marvel they crossed over with because of what was going on with I believe Hasbro and uh and Marvel at the time. So they tried to find a place for him. And in order to do that, they threw him up against every single wall that they could, and all that stuff is great. So the Micronauts are cool, but they're not that cool. I don't know.
Not that cool. Miracle Man is somehow it's still coming out, man. I feel like it's like almost 2 years for 6 issues, but
I
there it
FOC'd
is.
that cover, man. No, it was two different series. I think that's why
Oh,
you
okay,
get confused.
okay. So it's the Silver Age. Then we have Moon Knight, City of the Dead is on issue 3. Miss Marvel's on issue 2.
Songs.
Did you do the homage cover as well for that, or the team homage?
Yes, I did the first one, the Amy Reader.
I got you. X Men's got you, dude. Realm of X 2. So this is that magic story with the all female team.
Yep.
Spider-Man India 4 or 5. This one's taken a little bit, I feel like.
It is. That one's definitely dragging. Seeing as how Amazing Spider-Man, the current run hasn't been. It's been going on for what, a year and 4 months maybe, and they're at issue 36.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's weird that happens.
So Star Wars peeps, there is a Clone Wars cover featuring. Geez, I'm gonna tell you guys now. If you didn't FOC that cover, good luck.
Yeah,
Good luck, because it's what is her name, Ahsoka,
Ahsoka.
and
Yeah,
she's as popular as ever. And good luck, because
more
I
popular
wish
than
you.
ever.
I want. Hold on. I want to show them. I want to show them where. I wish you luck, young,
Yeah,
young comic collector.
that's it. May the
This
odds
is
be
why
ever
FOC
in
is
your
so important,
favor.
because you would have, and granted you can't predict how popular the show is going to be, but you would have seen the cover at least.
Yeah, you have to be under a rock, man, right now to not know
Yeah.
about this.
So then there is a Return of the Jedi cover for Nick. There is Mandalorian season 2 issue 4. Storm 5 of 5, that's about to end. Ultimate Invasion 4 that's about to end. I do like that Mahanini Days
Oh
of
yeah,
Future Past Doomsday cover. That's sick.
that's the one I got always.
And now I do want to point this out, and again, your comic store might need to reorder these, because maybe they skipped on it or they didn't order. 9.99, you can get this X-Men X-Verse Wolverine trade paperback. Um, it collects Wolverine First Class 1, 5, 17, 21, and Wolverine Empower Pack 1. So it's honestly just like your Wolverine starter pack. It's not going to give you his origin. It's not, but it's like your starter pack of like, I've always wanted to read some Wolverine. And then there you go. Buy it for a kid, buy it for your friend, 9.99. I'm going to just skim through Dynamite unless something catches my attention. It did not.
Yeah.
Let's see on the independents.
What do I get from Dynamite? So I get the gargoyles and the Darkwing Duck, right? I think that's
Yeah,
about
and
it.
there was none of that. There's none of that this upcoming week. I don't know how many stores ordered this, and I don't know if it's still orderable, because these things go out of print fast. There's a Chainsaw Man box set, volumes 1 through 11, for $100. That's a pretty good deal, especially considering you get the box set as well, which is, so you're at least getting one. I think you're getting maybe two of them for free in there, and then you get a box set. So that is very cool.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, now's the time.
Clifford the Big Red Dog, the movie graphic novel. I believe that movie came out like 2 or 3 years ago, but
Yeah, that
still, good
seems
effort, good try, Scholastic. I'm all about it.
keep it relevant, man.
Yeah, I ain't mad. Like, I ain't mad.
No,
Um,
my toddler went through like a Clifford stage where like he
dude,
like obsessed over it.
Clifford was my
Yeah,
thing as it. So those were the kind of books my elementary school like really wanted you to read, like especially in the
yeah,
early ages. So
right.
like it was nothing but Clifford, dude. Clifford goes to town. Clifford goes to read. Dude, they should make Clifford goes to the comic book store and make it a floppy issue instead of
Yeah,
like, what I'm saying, dude. It would sell tons, tons. Anyways, we're moving on. Dracula X Frankenstein's the trade paperback. That looks cool.
yeah.
Very off the beaten path, so who knows how many people ordered it, but it's available. Um, Honestly, I think that's gonna be it, man. Looks like everybody else is semi light. Oh, I do want to give a quick shout out to Nightmare Before Christmas
Uh-oh.
Battle for the Pumpkin King.
Oh, I need to get
That
that
is
trade.
written by Dan Connor, who is local to Central Florida. He's been at Fanboy Expo. He's been at Rise of the Phoenix. I'm sure he'll be at Rise of the Phoenix again.
That's
Big,
cool.
big shout out to him. That is a big step for him. He's done art and covers for stuff, but to be writing a Nightmare Before Christmas book for Tokyo Pop is super cool. Pick that up next week. I'm sure he'll be doing.
Also, yeah, also a super great, like personable guy that you can tell is very caring and passionate, and
Yep.
that's like I said, it's the best part of meeting these creators.
Yeah.
And like you were saying before I cut you off with the remarks and the signatures.
Yep. And if you pick up a copy of this, no matter where, and you see that he's doing a local signing, like go meet him. Totally worth it. Especially if you have a kiddo who loves Nightmare Before Christmas. Like he will make their day. Like I promise you, he is just good peeps. Um I'm gonna point this out because I don't think many people are gonna know this, and I don't remember if I pointed it out on FOC. Rat Queens, Sisters, Warriors, Queens, one shot. Um, this is the epic conclusion of Rat Queens. which was written by Curtis Weeb and drawn by Rock Upchurch. This book, it's a 10-year anniversary prestige format one shot. Rat Queens was something that was really cool 10 years ago, and it just fell into a lot of bad timing. One of the original creators got into a lot of trouble. The book was like semi-canceled, then it made a comeback, but they decided to renumber it as a number one, even though it was a continuation of the first 13. And
Huh.
Rat Queens has had really rough sledding, but if you like high fantasy and, like, for lack of a better term, because this is our show, badass bitches, like,
Oh,
that is what Rat Queen is, dude. It's like everybody always tries to go with that trope of like, oh, what if my D&D adventuring party was all female characters? And that's all well and good, but it's like how you make those female characters, right? And they're
yeah,
all barbarians, warriors. They're all
sure,
Michelle Rodriguez from the D&D movies,
sure, yeah.
like in their own crazy way. So Rat Queens, if you haven't picked it up, like give it a try.
Sounds cool.
It's a really cool book. I have to tell you.
Sounds it. Those are
Um,
strong Rex.
Sonic the Hedgehog Amy's 30th anniversary. So if you got a kid like Sonic, there's your shot. There's
Talk about a
also
character that feels like a throwaway that's been around forever, like Amy.
Amy
But
was
like,
in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I remember her.
I remember her. I had a Dreamcast.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Dreamcast
So,
was, or actually, I started with a Sega Saturn.
ooh,
Yeah.
I didn't have money like that.
So it's also Star Trek Blood, Day Day of Blood, Shaq's Best Day. So yeah, there's that if you like that. I think that's from Lower Decks. So if you're doing Star Trek Lower
Yeah,
Decks,
it's got to
that's
be.
um Tales from the Cave one shot. That's that Mad Cave Comics horror one shot. That is cool. I think Blackbird supports Mad Cave, so you'll see that. Um Yosagi Yojimbo Ice and Snow. I think that has a Scotty Young cover, which I don't know if Manny had a chance to order. I'll have to make sure he gets that on
Ooh,
Tuesday.
that's cool.
It's Scotty not doing a chibi character, which I think is kind of cool. World Tree is Void Rivals number 4. World Tree is hit second prints for all of its issues up to current. And that is it, y'all. There is I don't know how many stores ordered this. I think I showed it off on FOC. Back issue 147, George Perez tribute magazine. So that'll be a really cool thing. Not too many people order back issue, but when they do something like that, it's worth checking out.
Right.
Um, and that is all. Roy, what you got any last words?
I don't ever run out of words, so I don't think I can have last words. I don't know. I guess I would just like to say thanks to anyone who watches, whether it's live or catches us on some replay somewhere. You know, I really appreciate that. It's a lot of fun to be able to come and do this, and it's a real treat. You know what I mean? And wouldn't really have much of a point doing it if it was just you and I. You know, we could just sit down and do that in the same room. So just much love and respect to anyone who watches the show and wants to join in at any time, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
So Robert said I gotta see Roy at the shop to talk. I
Hold
actually
on, let me grab if he's still here, let me grab
he's
that
here.
trade.
And
Let me
Rob,
grab that
so like
trade.
I know Rob's a teacher. Rob's a hardworking guy. First of all, Rob, you never let us know if you need anything for your classroom. You need anything for your classroom, you let me and Roy
Anytime.
know, dog. We got you. Um, but I know Rob's a teacher, so he ain't making it out Wednesday at 10,
Yeah.
11 with the homies. But
Never gonna see me.
you know, maybe like on a Saturday, Roy likes to make a trip out there on Saturday. I'm gonna be working the next couple Saturdays because there's no football. So like, let us know, dude. Just hit us up in the DMs or whatever, and it'll always be good to see you. And yeah, there's Roy. Roy's got you.
So yeah, so this is the trade. It's out of the X-Men milestones. It's the second coming. So this is right after Messiah Complex and Messiah War and all that. So this is Second Coming, Prepare, X-Men 1 and 2, Uncanny X-Men 523 and 525, New Mutants 12 and 14, X-Men Legacy 235 and 237, and X-Force 26 and 28. So this is a nice chunky little wide boy, and I got it at a sidewalk sale for $5. And lo and behold, I have the actual original release trade as well as the single issue. So Robert, I know you need this. This is all for you, man. I don't know if I can just bring it there. You know, if you have a file, I can leave it in there. Let me know how you want that.
I think he reordered some books that should be in there next week, so we can see. We'll figure it out Wednesday. But Rob, thank you so much for support. Rob actually was saying that we encourage or we motivated him that him and one of his homies was doing the podcast now too. So
Oh,
like
sweet.
I'm glad because like it's all I've always gone. Or, well, sorry, as an adult, right? Because as a kid, I was a shit kid. As an adult, I've always gone by like everybody eats, right? Like there is
Yeah,
no reason, there is enough for everybody. Like there's no reason you gotta da, 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 da. So
yeah,
like, dude, anything we can ever do, man, let us know. But I'm glad that you haven't, because this is fun for us and informative. Because honestly, we're seeing a lot of this for the first time too. So like,
sure.
but yeah, man, it's always good to see you, Rob. Dan, I did love the cup. Let Nicole know, it's super cool. I'm gonna actually use it as my cup I take to work because I keep accidentally bringing outside food and beverages without remembering that. Dude, I don't like to make the baristas. I don't like to ask the baristas to make me an energy drink at freaking 9 in the morning.
Right.
So like, I just stop and get my normal thing, and then like I'll ask them for something like 4 hours later once they're established. But I don't know. Maybe one day I'll stop being a weirdo and just be able to be a normal
I
person.
understand how it's weird. I understand how it's weird to like see how you fit in and not want to bother people who are working and stuff like that. Like I get it. Like I've been in that situation before where I was working, where like I was training somewhere, or I didn't know where something was, and was just kind of like, uh,
Yeah, it's
because
like
I
I'll
didn't want to
figure it out when I
bother.
start.
Yeah, I just don't want to bother anybody. They
Yeah.
got their own established routines and what they got going on. It's
So
hard to
we'll get
not.
there. And again, uh, shout out to the baristas at Blackbird. Like, really, I did a Lorcana event Friday night. We had 30 players. I was busy, but like I was not nearly as busy as they were because after every player came and bought in for the tournament, they were hitting the cafe. So like now they got I just got to hit a couple buttons, take your payment. They got to take your payment and then go make you something. So
Make the
like
yeah,
they made the event what it is. I think a lot of people had a great time. So
the
yeah,
drinks are phenomenal.
shout
I
out
love
to
it.
them. Dude, and I've been off a couple weekends, but I feel like they make the fire sandwiches on the weekends too. Like that's when they bring out the heavy hitters. So like
Yeah.
I gotta make it out. Well, I work this weekend, so I'll be there.
Yeah, we already had lunch plans, so we didn't eat there, but I was finally able to get Michelle out there because we were free of the kids. So we were able to swing through there and get like some drinks, and they slap like
Dude,
always. And
something that they just got back in stock not too long ago is the Moonstruck, where it's like yeah,
that's what
I
she
don't
got.
know what it really is, but I
It's a
know that
moon pie.
they put a moon pie on the top and it's like a moon pie frappe. It's
Well,
amazing.
what they bit out of that moon is then blended up into your drink,
There
I
you
would
go.
assume, and there's like syrup in there because that's what Michelle got, and I got the latte. And it was funny because like a couple weeks ago, like I posted, on my Facebook with that latte, and someone was like, "Oh my god, that's so amazing!" And I was like, "This is the most basic,
Drink they
basic
got.
chick drink that they have. Yeah, like everything else is like this phenomenal, summoning, conjuring, I guess is what I mean, of a caffeine drink, and this is the plain Jane. So
Yeah.
the stuff there is just phenomenal. Although the sandwiches look great. You know me, man. We've been friends for like a year and a half now. You've seen me eat like 3 times.
You're right. You're
I
right.
subsist on hate. But yeah, I'm done.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. You can always find me on Twitter, Danny Nine Panels. You can find me at Blackbird this week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm off on Wednesday, but you'll find me. You can find me there
You're
Wednesday.
off on
I'm
Wednesday.
off on Wednesday, but that means I get to go in. I'll probably walk in about 10:30, get a spot in the booth with Jerry and 50.
You're never get you if you want a spot in that booth, you got to make it way earlier
Bro,
than
Jerry,
10:30,
I'm not
kid,
gonna
bro.
lie, Jerry got there at like 9:30 last Wednesday. And
Yeah,
I had
well,
a double take.
yeah.
I'm like, Jerry already?
You have to be there way earlier than that for a spot at the table. I don't mind. I usually end up in that little island right next
Yeah,
to
yeah.
it.
I don't mind sitting with Terrain in that second
Yeah,
thing,
it's
right? Like,
still like a super inclusive deal. So you know
yeah.
what I mean. I don't
But
feel
yeah,
left
so I'll
out at the
probably get
table
to
at
go
all.
and join in on that, grab my books, and then like probably actually get to read them since I have like that whole day where usually I come home dead. Instead, I have a day to chill with the homies, talk comics, and then go home on that comic high and probably
Yeah,
read some of it.
yeah.
So, all right, guys. I've been Danny. He's been Roy.
I'm still Roy. I will be
And we will
next week
see you
too.
next week, Sunday. Probably if not 12, 1 o'clock. We'll do it sometime around there.
I'm ready whenever you are.
Take it easy, guys, and y'all have a good one. Go Bulls.